Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me. In this session of exercises for long-term health and well-being, we're going to focus on rotation through your upper arm bone and your thigh bone. We're going to start at the thigh. Often when people talk about rotation, specifically internal rotation, they often add on the thigh bone movement to other body positions and don't emphasize the other body positions as much as they emphasize the rotation of the thigh bone. So you may see someone advocating for, let's work on internal rotation of your thigh bone or hip, and their bodies in a different position other than standing or laying flat on their side or on their back. Right, so here to help you understand what internal rotation is, let's just figure it out. You're going to start standing with your legs parallel. Take your hands on your hip bones, the bones that are jutting out of your hips, just to give you a sense of your hips and your pelvis, right? Now, with one foot, keep your feet where they are. Lift the toes and ball of the foot up off the floor, so the heel bone's on the floor. If you cannot do that, that's okay. The ball of the foot can stay on the floor. It's just a bit easier if that ball of the foot's off the floor. You can also stand on a slightly elevated surface with the other leg, right, like a magazine or a thin hardcover book or a towel even, just to get that little bit of height on your standing will help you lift the ball of the other foot, right? All right, once you've got that, keeping the heel bone of the leg we're focusing on with the ball of the foot, lift toes lifted, gonna rotate that knee to face out. The toes rotate with the knee. And then return, that's all you do. Keeping your hips very still, that's why your hands are there. So as you rotate the knee, try not to also rotate the hips and or shoulders or neck and face. Just your thigh bone, easy. This is what's called just external rotation. We're starting with our knee facing forward, which can be called parallel, and then rotating out, and then returning back to parallel. Rotating outwards, and then back to parallel. 5 more, rotate out and back. 5, good, rotate out, great, and back. 4, good, out and back. 3, 2 more, out, back. 2, 1 more, out, back, and then rest that foot. So there we worked on what's called dorsiflexion or flexion of the ankle, and external rotation or rotation of your thigh bone, right? So I added those two things in. From standing, we worked on the front of the ankle joint and your hip rotation. We're gonna do the similar thing now. Same foot, lift the ball of the foot and toes up if you can. They're gonna rotate that knee inward, return to parallel. It may not go as far, rotate it inward. 4. Try not to rotate the other thigh bone inward, right? So the leg that's not moving, that knee is facing forward, right? Just in and then return. 5 more. Rotate in, hips staying still, return. Keep that foot lifting. 4, good jump there, easy. 3, excellent work, breathe deeply. 2, one more time. Keep the knee as straight as you can. Knee facing forward, release. And hopefully you can feel the front of the ankle joint working strongly and maybe some hip warmth. Possibly not. The fact, if you're not feeling things, and does not mean that things are not working, right? As long as all the joints are doing what they're supposed to do, that's the exercise. How you feel exercises is going to vary person to person because we're all very differently wired like that, right? So let's add those two things together. Same leg again. Pick up the toes and ball of the foot. Hips stay still. You're going to rotate it out. Parallel, then rotate it in. Parallel. Out. Forward. In. Facing forward. Rotate it out. Face the knee forward. Rotate the knee in. That's right. Out and in. Nice and tall. Out and in. 5. Great job. 5 more here. Easy breathe. 5. That's right. Keep those hips very still. 4. This is an excellent exercise to help get awareness. 3 of your thigh bone and the hip muscles that connect your pelvis to your thigh bone. 2. Pelvis to femur. Easy breathe. Rotate in. Parallel forward and down. Rest. Great job. Then we're just going to switch sides, right? If you're standing on a small elevated surface, switch legs here. Other toe and ball of foot lift. Keep your legs as parallel as you can. Hands on your pelvis. Rotate that new knee out and then return it to face parallel. Knee rotates out. 4, take your time, easy. You might find on one leg the rotation feels completely different, and that's normal. 3, no one is symmetrical. Try not to move the other thigh bone or your pelvis. I know it's challenging, easy breathe. You may feel like you want to lean forward to get that thigh bone to rotate. 5, that's a natural inclination. 4, it might also feel like it's a sharp, jerky motion. 3, that's okay, easy, just do the best you can. 2, one more time, come center, release that foot down, little rest, great job. Same leg again, lift the toes and ball the foot up if you can. Now rotate that knee inwards and then return. Rotate in. 4, growing nice and tall. You got it. 3, Great work there. Easy. 2. Let's do 5 more here. Easy. It's a very simple looking exercise that's very challenging in terms of your proprioception. 4, or your ability to know what your body is doing without looking at it. Specifically 3. Easy. 2. One more time. Rotate parallel and then bring it down. Excellent work. Again, try not to lean forward. Try not to press your hips forward. Your body's standing nice and tall. Let's add those 2 motions together. Lift the toes and ball the foot up. Rotate the knee out. Face it forward. Rotate the knee in and forward. Not the hips. Rotate the knee out and then faces forward. Parallel. Rotate it in. Parallel. Great job. Nice and tall. Out. Good. Parallel. Heel bone stays down. In. Parallel. Great job. Out. Nice. Parallel. In. Parallel. 5 more here. Out. Parallel. Breathe. It might burn a bit. That's okay. Breathe deeply as long as it's not too intense. 4. Control. Breathe deeply. 3. Again, it's a very small range of motion. 2. You can feel how parallel and then let the foot rest down. You can feel how the range of motion is not small, but the feelings may be big, and that's totally fine as well, right? Step down. All right, so those were your thigh bones, right? They can rotate out. Facing forward, they can rotate in, right? They can do any permutation of that. And we added an ankle flexing on top of that, to help you feel it, because you can keep your foot on the floor and slide it like that, but the friction can be uncomfortable for people, right? But also, dorsiflexion is something people really need a lot more of in their lives in terms of what I've found throughout my history of working professionally here. Right, now we're going to focus on the rotation of the upper arm bone. And this one is usually done with a bent elbow or other things, but that could be limiting in terms of internal rotation going one way, right? So we're going to have the arm straight and we're going to add in to the upper arm bone rotating. We're going to let the lower 2 arm bones rotate around as well as your wrist, right? So unlike the femur where the rotation was just the thigh bone, everything else is staying still, right? We added dorsiflexion. With this one, we're going to add the below the elbow to the upper arm just to get a full range of motion, right? So this one is not just arm bone rotation. We're actually adding in the rotation of your forearm and the rotation of your wrist just to help get a full range of motion, right? The arm is just long by your side. Now, when you're standing tall, your palms may not face, they may not face the same way, right? One arm might be faced the other way, and they may face a bit back, right? So everyone might have a different starting position for this, right? Unlike your knees facing forward, the arms can be a bit more nebulous for people because there's just a lot of range of motion there. Regardless of where you are, we're just going to start from wherever you are personally, starting with one arm. You're going to rotate that palm to face forward, then rotate it out away from you as much as you can, and then return it back to whatever your starting position is. Same arm again. Rotate that palm to face forward. So the thumb goes away from me. Then the thumb keeps going to rotate the palm out as far as it can without moving the shoulder back in space, forward in space, or rounding, right? And then unwind to return. The arm bone rotates, the palm's going to face forward. The arm bones rotate more with the wrist to face out. This is external rotation of your upper arm bone, your humerus. And again, everything else stays still. Rotate out, nice and tall. Really good job. And then return. Breathe. Again, knees facing forward. You stand tall, rotate out. That's right. And then return. Again, from wherever you're starting, the thumb goes away from your body to rotate the palm forward. Easy, then keep going in that direction. And then return. Let's do 5 more here. Nice and tall. Rotate out. 5. Again, we're rotating the upper arm, but also the forearm and the wrist in one motion. Breathe deeply. 3, it's just easier to get a fuller range of motion at the shoulder and the upper arm bone to get the whole arm to be involved. 2, just because in other positions with the elbow being bent, it gets in the way of the rotation. Breathe deeply. And then return, rest. Really good job. That may not have felt as intense as it did in the leg in you. Realize you're not standing or using a weight on your arm. It's not holding you up at all. And you're not also flexing the wrist here as well, right? Because that would add to the intensity. Now let's go the other way. Same arm. You start from where you start from. You're going to rotate the thumb towards you or more towards you. Then rotate the palm to face behind you and keep it rotating that way without rounding or bringing the shoulder forward markedly. And then release, right? So be sure that when you rotate the arm bone, the shoulder or shoulder blade does not go forward or back. And then release. Again, really rotate the whole arm bone around. 8, easy. You might feel your fingers wrap around as well. That's fine. 7, as long as the upper arm bone is moving and you can try and focus on that being the emphasis. 6, sometimes moving the lower fingers and palm and wrist and forearm really helps. 5, Get more range of motion in the upper arm bone. As long, again, as that shoulder isn't coming forward and you're not rounding your spine or arching your spine. 4. Great job. It's just the arm bone hanging down and rotating. Breathe deeply. 3. Excellent work there. Control. Rotate the thumb towards you, palm back away from you as far as you can. 2. One more time. Nice and tall. Easy. Rotate, 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 rotate. 1. And rest. Again, you could feel how there is actually a lot of work being done. It just isn't your whole body moving at the same time. You're not in a very difficult position to maintain. If you're tired of standing, feel free to sit in a chair and let the arms just dangle down by your side. That's totally fine as well. Let's add these two things together. Same arm from wherever you're starting. Going to rotate the thumb away from you, palm facing forward where you're looking. Then it rotates out, external rotation. Return, then go the other way, all the way around the other way. 10. Then return to your starting. Again, rotate out, breathe deeply. Return to your starting position and rotate in. 9. Easy breathe. Great job. Rotate out, breathe deeply. You got it. And then rotate in. Other things to be aware of, that you're not jamming your shoulder down to get this rotation. 7. Relax the shoulder. Try not to plug your fingers into the floor or something like that. Easy breathe. Just let the arm dangle and find the rotation. 6. You may think that reaching the arm down will help you and create more intensity, and it may create more feelings, but it also can bring your shoulder blade down in space, which can make rotation more difficult to achieve, and you won't get your full range of motion. Breathe deeply. Let's do 4 more. Easy. Rotate out. You got it. Return, rotate in. 4. Great job there. Easy. Rotate out. 3. It is fine to straighten the elbow more if you feel that helps you. That's right. If through finding that rotation, you may find that straightening the elbow creates a bit more awareness of the arm bone rotating, that's fine. Just make sure you don't straighten it so much, again, that you're pulling the arm down. Easy breathe. And then rest. Excellent work. Other arm bone from wherever it's starting, right? Going to rotate the thumb to face away from you, palm faces forward, then keep going. Palm rotates out away from you. Return to whatever your starting position is. Again, rotate the thumb out, palm's going to face forward, and keep going with that rotation. 9. Return. And again, try not to, as you rotate, pull the shoulder blade back. You may feel that that's more range of motion, but it's actually more range of motion in your shoulder and not in the upper arm bone. Breathe deep. We're just rotating the arm bone. 7. Not moving the shoulders, like we didn't move the pelvis, right? Breathe, just the arm bone rotating. Breathe deeply. 6. Right now, today is what we're focusing on. Again, rotate externally outwards. 5. Nice and tall, easy. You may feel that stretching your fingers helps. That's fine. 4. Again, as long as you're not plugging the arm through the floor, breathe deeply, trying to get more quote-unquote feeling. Easy. And other things, just focus on the rotation. Breathe deeply. 2. Again, it may not be the biggest rotation in your life. You may be surprised at how little rotation you have. That's totally fine. And rest, right? I'm going to go the other way. We're going to do internal rotation, that same arm, right? I'm going to turn the thumb towards you or more towards you. The palm's going to face back if it's not already. Then going to keep going to get the thumb to go behind you. Palm faces out, away from you. Return. Going to rotate it in and around. 9. And here it's really tempting to move that shoulder forward. 8. Breathe deeply. You're going to see the arm bone rotate. 7. And it may look like my shoulder is going forward, but it's not. There's just the arm bone rotating, moving the soft tissue fibers. 6. Passively. Breathe deeply. The larger fibers that aren't involved in rotation are moving passively here. Breathe deeply. 5. Take your time. Nice and tall. Eyes and chest up. Look away from the floor. 4. Really great job. Easy. Again, rotate. How much rotation to the whole arm bone? 3. Again, it's not just the upper arm bone rotating the full arm, wrist, and palm. And your fingers too, if they could do a little rotation down there, right? Like you're screwing in or out a light bulb, hopefully one that's not red hot. And then rest. Now I'm going to do full range of motion on that same arm. Going to rotate the palm to face forward more, thumb out, and then rotate out externally fully. Then return to your starting position, then go the other way completely. 10. Return. Again, rotate out. Great job. Return. Rotate in. 9. Good work there. Keep the shoulders still. Rotate out. Breathe. Rotate in. 8. And again, it's really tempting to have the shoulder go back when you rotate out and shoulder go forward and rotate in. Try not to. Just the arm bone ready, keeping your shoulders still. Breathe deeply. 5 more. You're doing really well. Nice and tall. Breathe deeply. 5. Easy. And then rotate in. Return center. Rotate out. You got it. Return to beginning. Rotate in. 4. Great job there. Rotate out. Beautiful. Nice work, everyone. Rotate in. 3. 2 more there. Rotate out. Great. And then rotate in. One more time. Rotate out. Really good job. And then rotate in. And then rest. Excellent work. So again, it may not feel as intense on your arm and shoulder as it felt in your thigh or your leg and hip. That's because A, you're not standing on your arms, you're not holding on to weights, and B, I'm not asking you to flex your palm or do anything intense with your distal end, the parts furthest away from your body. Right, we are going to add these two things together. It's the same side, arm and leg here, right? Pick the toes up, flex the foot, going to rotate out, and then rotate in. The same side, thigh bone and upper arm bone, out and in 9. Same side, out, enjoy, breathe deeply in, keeping your rest of your body very still, out and in 7. Control, breathe out. Nice work, and in 6. So here's a great way to focus on strengthening 5, your deep support, breathe deeply, the joints, the soft tissues, 4 that are really closest to the joint and are really involved with your joints moving in internal integrity versus like catching a softball where you're working externally with the outside world. Here you're just moving your joints, right, without interfacing with the outside world, except for gravity and the floor. Breathe deeply, easy. So this really helps target the soft tissue fibers that are involved in moving your bones without focusing on moving things that are not your bones. Let's just say that. And then in, come parallel, rest. Other arm and same side leg. Rotate out and then rotate in. That's right. Hips stay still, out and in 9. Shoulders don't move forward or back, out. That's right. And in 8. Easy, breathe. Same side, arm and leg, out. And in 7. Very good job there. Out. Nice. And in 6. Very good job. Easy. Out. Hips stay square, knees face forward. In 5. Great job there. Out. Nice. And in 4, the great thing about this, out, is you can do it anywhere. Breathe deeply. In 3. Waiting for the bus, waiting for the train, waiting in the grocery store. In 2. Waiting for your popcorn in the microwave. Easy, breathe. 1. And then return center. Are you ready? We're going to do opposite arm and leg. Opposite arm and leg, rotate out. Is that right? That's right. And then rotate in 10. Opposites, out and in 9. That's right, out. Hips stay still, in 8. Great job. Out. Nice. In 7. Pick those toes up. Out. In 6. Hips and shoulders stay still. Chest up, eyes up. 5. That's right. Out. Very good. In 4. Nice work there. Out. Keep the heel bone on the floor. In 3. Great. Out. In 2. Out. In. Return center. Rest. Opposite arm and leg, other side. Rotate out. And in 10. That's right. That's really neuromuscularly challenging. In 9. My hips really want to twist there. 8. When I rotate this thigh bone. Something's very fascinating. Out. And in 7. Great job there. Out. And in 6. Other knee facing forward. Standing tall. Out. And in 5. Pick those toes up. Out. Great job. In 4. Fantastic. Out. Nice and tall. In 3. Great work there. Out. In 2. Very good job. Out. In, return parallel, rest. Both arms rotate out. Both arms rotate in. That's right. Rotate out. And in 9. That's right. Rotate out. Breathe. In 8. Great job. Rotate out. Nice. In 7 again. Rotate out. Try not to move the shoulders forward or back. In 6. Out. That's right. In 5. Fantastic. Out. In 4. Great job. Rotate out. Beautiful. In 3. Try not to squeeze the shoulder blades together. They just stay still. I know. 2. It's tempting to move them. Easy. Breathe. Adding 1 thigh bone in with the arms. Out. In 10. Great job. Out. You can always hit pause. 9. Make adjustments when you need to. Out. In 8. Again, both arm bones and 1 leg bone. In 7. That's right. Out. And in 6. Where's that full range of motion? 6. At the upper arm bone without moving the shoulder forward and back. Easy. Breathe. 4. Take your time. Out. Great job. In 3. Very nice job there. Out. Great. In 2. Out. In, return parallel. You guessed it. Other leg out with the arms repeating. In 10. That's right. Out. And in 9. The shoulders, easy, breathe, are different from the hips. 8, in terms of the shoulders, have a lot more range of motion at their capacity. 7, so they often need a lot more gentle strengthening. 6 than the hips, specifically. 5. Breathe deep. So the hips move less, have more internal bony support. Their shoulders have less bony support, so they're less stable. So they can use a lot more emphasis in terms of range of motion and strengthening. Easy breathe. You don't have to use heavy weights, but you can tell here that your shoulders are not nearly as fatigued as you think they might be, right? Unlike the hip, which might be quite tired. Return parallel and rest. Again, that's because you are holding up your body weight with your legs. If we were laying on our back, you would feel it quite differently, right? But you get less range of motion at the shoulder, right? So you felt all that range of motion. Now we're going to add a little more into it. We're going to let you move. I know you're very excited. As you rotate the palms out, let your chest lift up. Draw your shoulder blades together strongly, and then return. That's all you're doing. Rotate out, chest goes up. And I'm not going to my full range of motion in my neck, and return forward. Your neck can go a lot further if it wanted to. Lift your heart. Your eyes and face do rise, but they're not going to the end range. Again, extend up as you rotate out. And then return to, rotate the arm bones out, chest lifts up. You got it. And go to the opposite. You're going to rotate in, curl, bring your chin to your chest a little bit, and then return. Again, my head's not going to its full range of motion. You can go a lot more. 4, breathe deeply. Think of pressing your breastbone behind you as you curl inward. 3, the shoulder blades will move forward, shoulders move forward. All right, now here's the movement that you probably want to do, right? You want to rotate, and you could feel how those shoulder blades want to go forward when you rotate the arms in. That's a natural inclination. Breathe deeply. Take your time. 5 more, please. Rotate in, breathe deeply. 5. Nice work, and then return. Again, rotate in. 4. Great job. It's really great to practice these kinds of patterns together. 3, to remind yourself about when I'm rounding my spine like this, my shoulder blades come forward, my arm bones are going to want to round a bit. 2, that could be helpful to understand. Again, breathe deeply. You know we're going to add these 2 things together. Rotate out, chest up, extend, return. Rotate in, curl forward. Great job. Shoulder blades come together, chest lifts up, rotate the arm bones out, then return. Shoulder blades separate, heart goes back. 9, that's right. Rotate out, easy breathe. Nice, everyone. Rotate in, 7. Great job there. Rotate out, breathe deeply. You got it. Rotate in, 6. Great job there. Easy. Rotate out. Nice work there. Rotate in, 5. Great job. Rotate out. Breathe deeply. Rotate in, 4. Great job. Rotate out. Chest up. Rotate in, round, curl. 3. You got it. Rotate out. Chest up. Rotate in, curl. 2. You got it. Rotate out. Rotate in, you got it. Then stand up nice and tall. Let's give the upper quadrant a break, and we're going to go back to the lower quadrant, right? So we talked about your knees going forward. So when your knees bend, feet on the floor, whole foot, knees go forward as far as you have no pain or strain, right? That's your knees going not in rotation one way or the other. Breathe deeply. You may find that when you bend your knees, they want to come together, right? So you have to focus on rotating out a little bit or pushing your knees out a little bit to get them to not come together, because there can be a few things going on there, right? It may not just be your rotation. It could be the thigh bones just coming together by themselves, which is not rotation. But when the leg bones come together, that tends to emphasize inward rotation. Breathe deeply. So even though the rotation may not be the cause, most likely it's on the cusp somewhere of internal rotation. Conversely, if you're bending your knees and going out, you need to bring your knees in a bit. There is internal rotation there, all right? So when your knees go out, it's going to be on the cusp of external rotation, even though it may not be the external rotators that are making your knees go out. There could be other things going on there. It could be the hip muscles pulling the leg out to the side, right? But at the cusp, the outer ranges of the motion, your external rotators are going to be kicking on a little bit or just involved somehow, right? All right, so you're going to bend your knees and think of pushing your feet and knees apart a little bit, and then return. Knees go forward. So as you bend your knees, push your feet and knees away from each other without them actually moving. Breathe deeply. Return. Knees go forward. Push your feet apart. Great job. Return. Knees go forward. Push your feet apart. Really good job. Return. Knees bend. Push those feet apart. Really good job. Return. Knees bend. Push those feet apart. Rest. So there is a lot more than rotators involved. Realize I didn't say point your knees in. I said push them apart, but that is going to involve some of the internal rotation fibers involved in that, right? Let's do the opposite. Bend, not the up, we're going to add on. Bend your knees, push them apart. Now just straighten, pull the feet together. Bend your knees, push apart. Straighten, pull the feet and knees towards each other. They're not going in, they're just going forward and back, but as you're going forward, you're pushing your feet away from each other. As they straighten, you're pulling your feet towards each other. bend to push out, straighten to pull in, nice and tall, bend to push out. So again, this is not rotation, it's something a bit different, but we're gonna make it, it's gonna make sense in a second, I promise you. And then pull together. Again, push out to bend, pull in to return. Great job. Now keep your heel bones where they are and rotate your knees and toes out. Now we're in that external rotation here. So as we bend here, remember that rotation feeling of rotating out? Rotate out a lot as you bend and push your knees out. Now pull your feet in as you come up nice and tall, keeping that rotation. Keeping that rotation of your thigh bones, rotating out, bend, push your knees out, feet on the floor, push your feet away from each other. Now you're gonna pull your feet toward each other in that rotation of the thigh bone to pull straighten. Okay, so you're rotating your knees out as you bend, rotate your knees out as you come together. Rotate your knees out as your knees press apart, feet press apart. Now as you come in, back in, try and squeeze your feet together and rotate your thigh bones out and straighten them. Again, rotate out. You can feel that big difference here with all those qualitative movements. And pull them together. That's right. Press your feet apart to bend. Pull your feet toward each other, pull. Press your feet away from it, even though the feet are not moving. Keep the external rotation of your thigh bones. That's right. Press them out to bend. You got it. Pull them together. Really great job. You want to add in more? We're going to add in more. Now, as you rotate, I'm going to let your heart lift up, extend, arch. As you come up tall, you're going to squeeze, rotate, and curl. Rotate in with the upper arm body. Again, rotate out, push the knees out, rotate the, and then pull the legs together, rotate the upper quadrant in. Again, rotate out, bend, and extend, Rotate in, pull those feet together, and curl. Again, rotate out, keep the thigh bone rotating out the whole time, and rotate, so you're not rotating the thigh bone in at this one. The arm bones rotate out. The arm bones rotate in, right? The thigh bone just rotates out, and then it keeps rotating out the whole time. It's counterintuitive. Rotate out, you got it, and then rotate out. Two more here. Again, thigh bones just rotate out. They keep rotating out. One more time. Again, rotate out. That's right. Keep rotating out. Then bring it up nice and tall and rest. Bring your legs back to parallel. Really good job. Now, keep on the ball of the feet and just slide your heels away from each other here. Here is the internal rotation of your thigh bone, right? And you can hopefully feel that by now. It's at the top of your thigh bones. Hopefully, you may not feel that. Doesn't mean it's not working, right? Again, your toes may not face the same direction. It's your knees that we're really focusing on facing each other. Once you've got that, step one leg out a little bit more, right? Just to give you some more range of motion. Now, rotate those femurs in, pull your knees towards each other. Now, keep the thigh bones rotating in, push out. Again, as your knees bend, you're going to pull the feet towards each other. As your knees straighten, push the feet apart, but keep the thigh bones rotating in. Keep them rotating in to bend. Keep them rotating in as you press. Just keep the thigh bones rotating in. Thigh bones just keep rotating in and then press. Pull your feet together as the knees bend. Push your feet apart to stand. You could feel how the emphasis of moving your feet in or out really helps you bend your legs and stand tall. It's quite a different feeling from just thinking of bending and straightening your knees. Using that lower leg is really quite helpful to get more soft tissues to be involved. Breathe deeply. Bend, keep rotating in the whole time. You know we're going to add on to this. Bend, rotate your chest up, arch, straighten, curl, round. So the arm bones externally rotate, the thigh bones just stay internally rotated, and then everything internally rotates here as you straighten. Bend, extend, arch, straighten, curl, around. Again, keep those thigh bones rotating in the whole time. Push your feet apart. Pull the feet towards each other. Push the feet apart. Great job. Pull the feet together. Great. Push the feet apart. Nice. Pull the feet together. Nice. Push the feet apart. Three more. Again, arch and extend. Great. Curl and round. Three. Great job. Pull the feet towards each other. Push the feet apart. One more. Pull the feet towards each other. Push them apart and just rest. Excellent work. So hopefully you felt how just the emphasis of bending and maybe pushing your feet apart or pulling your feet together can really add a lot of support to these movements. That's why it's helpful to think about everything that's involved. It's not just the knees bending, right? Your hip is involved, your feet are involved, the upper quadrant's involved. It's all working because you are a closed system like an amoeba. It's impossible to escape it and stay alive. That was dark, I'm sorry. It's not easy to escape, let's just say that. So when you're bending your knees, it's often helpful for many people to think of pushing your feet apart a little bit, not knees apart, feet apart. And as you stand, it's often helpful to think of pulling those legs together a little bit, right? That can be a real sense of activating different parts of your body, right? So you're not just pushing your feet apart on the way down and up, though that has value as well. That's one way to think about it. But it's also helpful to think of pushing apart on the way down and pulling in to stand up nice and tall, right? It's also valuable maybe to think of pulling your thigh bones to get your feet together on the way down and feet together on the way up. I find that keeping the always in or always out on the way down and up limits the range of motion through the joints through the exercise, right? So I often try and emphasize one thing on the way down and another thing on the way up. Specifically out on the way down, in on the way up, helps the joints have a full range of motion and not just focus on making sure that we're feeling a specific part of our body the whole time. I hope you enjoyed. My name is Eric. This is Nucleus Strength. I look forward to getting stronger with you in the future. You're always in good health. Take care.